What better way to start the holiday season than a small comic con? We are in Tullytown, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we traveled a little bit far for the Tullytown Firehouse Comic Book Show. It is the first time they've ever done one, so we figured we'd come here and support one of the little conventions. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we find inside. It's small, but it was about an hour drive, and it was an interesting drive that we'll talk about later. Let's see what's inside. A fan, and in my life have been to 2 Broadway productions,
and the many that his daughters have been in
King Kong and Back to the Future, so there's a connection there for me.
Reviews on those?
I loved King Kong. Back to the Future was too much singing, but that's how I feel. So Tullytown Comic Book and Collectibles Show, it's their 2nd year, and it's held at the local fire station. It's sponsored by the Tullytown Fire Department. It's Tullytown, Pennsylvania. And it's about an hour and a half away from us, so I drove down there solo. And on the way down there, I believe I was behind John Bon Jovi. See? Probably not John Bon Jovi because he's from New Jersey, not from New York, but it must have been a huge John Bon Jovi fan to have your license plate say John Bon Jovi. On the way down to Tullytown, we passed through Amish country. That was fun. And then we went into the show. It was $5 to get in. It was smaller than most of the shows we go to, but had a very strange variety of items. So it had some comic book vendors, and we'll talk about how we knew some of them. It had Funkos. They had a guy selling cigars, which I've never seen. No, I did not. I've never seen cigars sold at a comic book show. Collectibles. I don't know if people collect cigars. If you do, comment. I didn't know that was something. It was a little bit odd to me. There were stickers. There was Lego. There was a lot of Philadelphia merchandise. Eagles. Phillies. I won't mention the name of the other team. So there were a couple of comic book vendors there. Some great wall books. So that made it worth the trip. There was loads and loads of really good wall books. Let's take a look at them right now. So one of the things I did while I was there is I looked through some Fantastic Four bins. Of course, I always do that. If you watched last week, you saw at Newcomb Comics, I bought a big Fantastic Four issue, and I did the last time me and Cassidy were at a convention. So stay tuned to the end to see if I bought any big Fantastic Fours in this episode at the Tullytown convention. We'll see. Check at the end. Also went through some other bins. We're looking for some Justice League, trying to finish the JLA and the original Justice League series. Also found some friends there. So John Costa, friend of the show, who's been on once or twice. He runs the One Day Comic Expo. He was there, and he had some very interesting comic books on his wall. One was this Blip Comic. It was a lot of money, and I had no idea why, so I had to ask John, and I was like, why is Blip Comic, a 1980s video game like magazine more than a comic book, why is it worth so much money? Stay tuned to the end and we will tell you why. Do you know why?
I don't know why.
We will tell you. We will tell you why. Blip Comic, who has one of my wife's favorite actors from Little House on the Prairie on the cover, is worth so much money. Besides John Costa, also the guy who runs New Egypt Comic Convention was there. His name is Chad also. And the guy who runs the South Jersey Comic Show was there as well. So we were all chatting about comic shows, and the guy who runs the South Jersey one has a bunch of shows coming up. We will be attending most of them. As we've discussed, someone recently asked if we could provide a list of the shows we'll be going to in 2025. We're working on that right now. There will be an episode where we talk about the shows we're going to attend. There are a lot. Hopefully we're going to be going a little bit further than we've gone in the past. We're going to be trying to visit some more comic shops in 2025. Hopefully Brian will stop buying again.
Will we make it to our favorite convention this year?
I hope so. Terrificon is our favorite. We missed it last year because we were on our cruise. Check out our Alaska episode. Hopefully this year we'll be back. Fingers are crossed. We haven't booked a hotel yet, so we'll see. But what we always do when we're at a convention is we buy comic books. And I bought comic books, so I have a haul. But I also bought comic books for my daughter, even though she wasn't there.
So I have a haul.
Cassidy's been collecting Star Wars comic books, so I bought her some Star Wars comics. So here's Cassidy's haul.
Yeah, so first we have Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, number 1. You'll notice that it is IDW, not Marvel, or Dark Horse. So, and one of the writers of it is Kevin Scott,
who was just on with the interview with us. Kevin was fantastic. If you haven't watched it, watch it now. And if you want, make a comment, and Kevin will reply. He's replied to every comment so far. So great guy.
And I am starting to read more of the High Republic stories. I don't know much about the High Republic era of Star Wars, but I did just also read one of the books. So I read Star Wars Light of the Jedi. That's one of the High Republic books. The next one I think I'm gonna read is The Rising Storm.
You're not really reading them.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
That's not reading.
I read some books and I do audiobooks, so it counts towards my Goodreads.
It's not reading though. It's listening.
But, so yeah, I use the New York Public Library to get most of my books.
Yeah, if you live in New York, you can get it free. You can listen to books for free.
Yeah, really great program. I try not to buy that many books.
So check it out if you're in New York. It's cool. My wife does it all the time too.
Yeah, we read most of our books through the New York Public Library.
Listen, not read.
I read and listen.
Oh, okay.
I do both.
Go ahead.
But I do highly recommend Star Wars audiobooks in particular, because compared to other regular audiobooks, they do have a soundscape and they're really cool to listen to. Usually they have voice actors who will change their voice with each character. I listened to the Obi-Wan book as well, and I think that the voice actor who did that one sounded really good for Obi-Wan. And there's sounds of droids, of speeders, of ships, and it's so really,
there's sound effects.
Yeah, it's really cool to listen to because it's not just a person reading. It does kind of feel like you're listening to this world instead of just reading the book. So, recommend Star Wars.
Highly recommended by Cassidy.
Okay, so next we have Star Wars High Republic number 2. and number 6.
So the first one was IDW. These are Marvel.
These are Marvel.
Still written by Kevin Scott, though. Kevin Scott is the expert on the High Republic. Check out the interview, like we said.
And then I have Star Wars The Mandalorian number 6.
Pretty cool. I bought these, and none of them she had already, so.
And then Yoda number 5. And Yoda number 6. So yeah, you will notice that it is mostly Marvel, and we don't see a lot of Star Wars
in dollar bins.
To begin with, but when we do, we really only see Marvel. Yeah.
And more of the newest stuff, not much of the older stuff.
Yeah, I did start making my list of what Star Wars comics I have, and there's a few comics that I'm looking to finish in runs of Dark Horse comics, but I never see Star Wars Dark Horse at these conventions. So if you see Star Wars comic books in dollar bins at conventions, what are you finding?
Are you collecting Star Wars? Let us know what convention you're going to too. We may travel a little bit this year, so we might go to a convention that's further away from us than currently we are. So Cassidy collects Star Wars comics almost exclusively. That's all she really reads. I, on the other hand, collect everything under the sun, as my daughter continues to tell me. Here is my haul for Tullytown. Way more than I should have bought, probably. Let's go through it right out of the gate. How can you pass up a Silver Age Green Lantern number 56? This is key number 1. It's the first appearance of Charlie Vickers as a Green Lantern. It's a 15-center for $3. This is from John Costa. These pink tags are John Costa. So I bought a bunch from here.
Though? He looks like the Thing.
That is not the Thing.
Obviously,
I have no idea who it is. It's one of Green Lantern's villains.
If
you know who that is, comment.
Modeled off of the Thing.
Babyface, comment. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Also, how could I pass this up? This is key number 2. This is the first appearance of Guy Gardner as a Green Lantern. It's Green Lantern number 195. How can I pass that up for $3? Even the guy working at John Costa's booth was like, this was in a $3 bin? You can't pass that up for $3. This is a big key issue. It's another new Green Lantern. I couldn't say no to it. I also blame John for my new thing that I'm collecting, because I am collecting. Here is Rom. So I bought a whole bunch of Roms from John. It's his fault. Rom 47.
So you only got 2 DC books?
2 DC books. Yeah, a lot of stuff. As we've been talking about a lot more Marvel in the dollar bins and the lower bins than there are DC right now. And it's not, I predominantly have DC in my collection. When we show the collection down here, which we will at some point this coming year in 2025, we will show the entire basement. You won't just see the part behind us. You'll see that most of my collection is DC, but I've been buying a lot more Marvel because they're in the dollar bins, and for some reason I'm collecting some weird 1970s and early 1980s. Rom 54, and I bought a lot of Rom in this one. Rom 57. It was a toy that they made into a comic book. The comic book lasted way longer than a toy. 60.
So, you want to talk about Rom the Space Knight? Let's talk about Rom the Space Knight. Rom began his existence as an unfortunately unsuccessful action figure released by Parker Brothers Toys. In order to promote the action figure, Parker Brothers sold the rights for storytelling to Marvel Comics, who assigned Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema to create the comic book. Now, here is a very unusual thing. The character Rom as a toy failed, but as a comic book character, he took off and was popular, and his comic ran from 1979 to 1986. Every issue was written by Bill Mantlo, and Sal Buscema illustrated every issue up until 1984, when art duties for the last 2 years of Rom's run were taken over by Steve Ditko.
61. 62, 63, 65, a lot of Rom, 71. Rom is a robot. That's Rom.
How do you keep up with reading all the
73,
comics that you buy?
I don't. 74, it's what I'm planning to do when I retire. This is key number 3. This is the first appearance of Lord Dominor and the Death of Seeker. When I retire, I'm just going to read all day. Annual number 3, key number 4, cameo of Sam Guthrie, who is Cannonball from the New Mutants, his family, and his sister Paige, who later becomes Husk. This is Cannibal's a new mutant, if you didn't know. Magic, number 4. This is key number 5. Magic becomes Darkchild, a demonic persona. Do you know who Magic is?
No.
From the New
Magic the
Mutants
Gathering?
movies. She was in the New Mutant movie. Shogun Warriors, number 3. This is
Another one.
a series I collect. I bought X-Men number 1.
X-Men number 1.
Look at that. No, it's a reprint. It was only $1. Still in the bag. Exact replica of the original. Maybe one day I'll own the other one. Right after I buy Fantastic Four number 1. Also continuing to collect the New Universe. This is Starbrand number 1, which is key number 6. The first appearance of Starbrand. This is an interesting piece of Marvel history when they tried to introduce new characters. Didn't really go too well. Mark Hazard Merc number 1, key number 7. The first appearance of Mark Hazard. Let us know if you read New Universe. New Universe Kickers number 2. I should be able to finish this. Almost all of these are in the dollar bin. Inf Man number 1. This is key number 8. This is the second appearance of Inf Man.
Inf Man?
I know nothing about him. He's the
So why'd you
ultimate
buy
ninja.
it?
I don't know. It was a number 1 that I never seen before.
You bought a lot of comics that aren't part of your
Yeah.
usual
It was in the
list.
50-cent bin too. That's probably why I grabbed it. Here's a strange one. The Marvel Funfetti book. Never heard of this before, but it looks like it's dealing with the bullpen, which is all the Marvel writers and artists. So got Stan Lee on the front. This would have been cool to get signed by Stan Lee when he was alive. I wonder if people actually did it. Continuing my New Mutants run, New Mutants 64. I think we're down to only a couple of these. Maybe we'll finish them early in 2025, or maybe by the end of this year. Avengers number 195. This is key number 9. This is the first cameo appearance of Taskmaster. 196. He will appear. So what do you think? Could this be considered a first appearance? It's been a long debate. Wolverine 180 or 181. Darkseid has 2 that have been interesting. There's a Jimmy Olsen and there's a New Gods. It's a long debate in comic books. Does a cameo count as a first appearance, or does it have to be a full appearance?
What do you think?
Depends on the character. So most of the time it's one panel. So the Darkseid is a good one because Darkseid in the Jimmy Olsen comic, he only appears on a screen. So I don't know if that one could be considered a first appearance. But Brian did a long video on Hellboy, who had a lot of first appearances. Check it out. It's really interesting. Hellboy appears in a lot of comic books before what is called his true first appearance. So I don't know. You could debate what his first appearance is. So this one, don't know, but it was only $3. I couldn't pass it up. Didn't even know it was Taskmaster's first appearance.
I think it would be interesting to compare the cameo debate to movies because they are listed in the credits. So if a character has a cameo and they're just there for a few seconds in one of the superhero movies, it's considered an appearance.
So what do you think? Is a cameo in a comic book, so if a character appears in one panel, is that considered a first appearance, or does he have to be part of the comic book? I don't know. I would think if you own Hulk 180, then you're saying Hulk 180 is Wolverine's first appearance, but if you paid a lot for 181, then you're saying 181 is the first appearance. It all depends. It's perspective. Avengers number 246. This is the first appearance, not cameo, of Maria Rambeau, who is Monica Rambeau's mother. You know who Monica Rambeau is?
Yes.
Okay. Spider-Woman number 47. This is
Another one.
series I collect. Miss Marvel number 4. Another series I collect.
Another one.
You don't
Number
buy a lot of
5.
that, though.
Do you never see it?
Yeah, we never see
I never
it.
see these. I never see Spider-Woman, Miss Marvel, or the Savage She-Hulk, which is another series I collect. This is 4. And to find it in the $3 bin is good. These usually are more expensive. And number 7. These are good pickups for me, even though they're in $3 bin. John has some good comics when I go to him. All the pink ones are John,
He knows what you collect.
kind of. 247, Hulk 247, Hulk 285.
So you didn't get Hulk 180 and
Nope.
181?
Hulk 287. This is key number 11. The first appearance of Kate Waynesboro, who becomes Miss MODOK. Hulk 294. This is an interesting one. If over the course of like 10 episodes, the Hulk goes from this to Savage. So he starts off in a suit and then he ends in thing. If you do like a little flip of them, they do that. Also picked up something I never pick up. John Costa again. Master of Kung Fu. Picked up a bunch of these. This is 85.
Because you don't have enough comic runs that you can.
95. Just gives you more stuff to look for me. 87. Oh, this is 85. 87. 96. This is key number 12. This is the first appearance of Rufus Carter, aka Super Midnight. 97. Bought a bunch of Master of Kung Fu. Gonna have to add this to the list. 116. 121.
Oh, how many Masters of Kung Fu?
A lot. 124. This is from the early 1980s. 125. This is key number 13. This is the final issue of Master of Kung Fu. And now it's time, drum roll please, for the big Fantastic Fours that I bought. I did buy key Fantastic Fours at this convention. Trying to buy at least one at each convention. Hopefully going to get all of them from 1 to 100. We'll see. That's going to be costly, but you never know. I bought issue 41. This is key number 14. This is the third appearance of the Frightful Four. Recently picked up their first appearance. So there you go. Love that someone put 5 cents on there. So at some point someone sold this for 5 cents. I love when it has stuff like this. There's a history there. Some kid wanted to make 5 cents. And I bought number 80. This is key number 15. This is the first appearance of Tomazuma, the Living Totem. That's him right there. So that's 2 issues below 100 that are keys. Also bought some of the other ones, not from the original series. This is Fantastic Four Unplugged, number 3. Fantastic Four Unplugged, number 6. Fantastic Four 2099, number 6. A lot of Fantastic Four series over the years. This is Jim Lee's version from 1997. This is issue number 4.
I'm looking at the back advertisement because Scream is one of my favorite horror movies. So
I'm telling you, we're going to do one
it
episode
was an advertisement
where we just
for
show
a
the
movie.
backs of comic books. You have to guess what year it's from. This is just as a Jim Lee cover. Christmas cover, so perfect for this time of year. Number 5, also a Jim Lee cover. Cassidy's second favorite movie, Turbulence.
Never seen it.
Probably never even heard of it. Number 6, another Jim Lee cover. And finally, What If? What If number 89, Fantastic Four. I don't know what this What If is. It doesn't really tell me what the What If scenario is. So, but it was something I'd never seen before, so I picked it up. That's the haul. So overall, Tullytown was worth it for me. Got to chat with John for a while, talk with the guys from New Egypt and the guy from South Jersey. It was cool. I'll be back there again. If the guys from Tullytown are watching, let me know when the next one is. We'll head down. Cassidy might come with me. And before we wrap up, let's go over what that Blip comic book, why it was worth so much money.
Why was it worth so much money?
It's considered the first appearance of Super Mario and Donkey Kong.
Like ever?
Yeah, in a comic book.
In a comic book.
Yeah, that's what it.
And what year did that come out?
It was like from 1981 or something like that. There was a lot of, back in the early 1980s, late 1970s, there was a lot of like teeny magazines, like for teenagers, and that was like a early video game magazine, Blip. I had never seen it before, so that's why I had John take a picture with it. So, I don't know. That's what happens.
There's a demand for that, though?
I don't know. I guess video game guys, if you're a video game collector, I guess it's something you want. I know there's people that collect Super Mario and Donkey Kong, so there you go. There's the first appearance. Now you know it's in that Blip with the guy from Little House on the Prairie on the cover. So that's it. Definitely worth it. I give it a thumbs up. Glad I went, even though it was a little bit much of a drive. It was a nice, relaxing day. I got to flip through comic book bins for a couple of hours while everyone else was at the movies. There you go. Hopefully in 2025 we'll have a lot more of these videos. We'll be traveling all over the world maybe.
So if you have conventions that you recommend, let us know in the comments. We would love to see ones that we haven't heard of before.
Yep. And if you want to support the channel, become a member. Membership has some exclusive stuff. You get to do a video with us if you would like, and we will put it on the air. If not, give us a thanks. Any dollar helps because YouTube has cut the amount they give us for each video. Not sure why, but they have. So to keep us in the comic books, become a member or give us a thanks. Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
And collect what you love.
We'll see you at the convention.
We would be honored if you would join us.